that you should always consider what we discussed last week and today: descending order, greatest common factor, and negative leading coefficient. These are extremely important before you apply. Of course, this is our handout for factoring, but you should always present the polynomial in descending order. You should always think in terms of the greatest common factor that you can factor out and basically divide both sides if it's not the variable. You cannot divide by the variable because you're missing solutions. And never, ever, ever use the quadratic formula if you have a negative leading coefficient. And you can say, but what do I do? Very simple. Multiply both sides by -1. Always and forever. You should never agree to solve a quadratic equation using the quadratic formula or any other method with a negative leading coefficient, ever. Okay, so can anyone refresh our memory on the quadratic formula? I know you know it because you used it when we didn't even discuss it. Can anyone help? Anyone who has not spoken up today?
Negative b.
Yes, correct. Negative b. Then plus or minus?
Square root.
Excellent.
B squared.
Yes.
Minus 4 times AC.
Very good. Over?
Over 2a. Correct?
Excellent. Yes, Wesley, thank you. Now, one common mistake that I see here, no matter what b is, of course with the sign in front, positive, negative, this piece has to be positive at all times. I don't care what b is because you have to square it. I've seen it so many times, students write here -9. So please don't do that. It's not possible. This piece is something squared, which has to be a positive number at all times. Okay, so I let you choose any quadratic equation. You can make one up for me, anything you want. Make one up. Any quadratic equation, please. If not, I will copy one. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Anyone? Okay then. So I have 2x squared minus 1 plus 2x equals 0. By the way, is this a quadratic equation?
It needs to be reordered.
Correct. So it is a quadratic equation and we have to reorder it. Can anyone tell us how to reorder it?
To 2x squared plus 2x minus 1.
2x squared plus 2x minus 1. Very good. So now we can start the quadratic formula. If you prefer to write on the side what a, b, and c are, that's fine too. Tell me what you want me to do. We go directly to the quadratic formula. So please make sure that you write x and equals. Can anyone get it started for us?
Will be -2.
Excellent.
Plus or minus the square root of 2 squared.
Good. So when you say
4.
2 squared, you're correct. Let's square it. So we don't make an error. We don't have to write it again. So 2 squared is?
4.
Good. Now, keep in mind that there is a minus in here. We will write it for now. Then, b squared minus?
4.
Yes.
Times 2
A.
times -1.
Good. So 4 times 2 is?
8.
Times -1?
Would be -8.
With minus in front?
Make it a positive.
Exactly. You can say, no, I just want to write all those nested parentheses, da, 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 da. You can. feel free to do so. But I would like us to move forward from this. We have so much more material to work on. This is just a simple situation, right? Perfect. Over 2a, which is 4. Remember what we just said. Do not attempt something like this. That would be terrible. We have to combine like terms. And 4 plus 12 is? Four plus 8 is?
Well,
Yeah, sorry. Okay, so then the square root of 12 will be rewritten how?
4 and square root of 3.
Very good. Excellent. So then finally we will write as x equals negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 4. I know you're going to say 2. The square root of 3 divided by 4. Be careful. Don't touch this. Don't simplify. You have two options. You can factor out 2 and then simplify with 4. Or you separate the fraction into two fractions. So let's analyze this because this is very important. A plus B divided by C. Can this be replaced by? Anyone can help?
A over C plus B over C.
Brilliant. Who was that? Kevin. Thank you. And backwards. A over C plus B over C is the same with A plus B over C. So you have two options. You either factor out 2. Do not simplify in a sum. You either factor out 2 and then simplify with a 4, or you separate the fraction into two fractions and then you are allowed to simplify each individual fraction. Which one do you prefer? We separate or we factor? One or the other. Please choose.
Separate.
Okay, perfect. So then x equals negative 2 over 4 will simplify into negative 1/2. Plus or minus has to stay. 2 the square root of 3 over 4, the same thing. I can simplify now and have the square root of 3 over 2. And this is it. Any questions on the quadratic formula? I want to talk, any questions, anyone? Anyone, please? Okay, I want to talk about this quantity. It has a special name. So the b, that's not good. Sorry. So the b squared minus 4ac, it's a very important quantity, not with the square root, just the quantity under the square root. It's called discriminant. And like any real number, the discriminant can be 3 different things. What do I mean by 3 different things as a real number? What do we have in mind when we say a real number? What can it be? This or that, which is what? When I ask you, give me a real number, what would you say? What can you give me? Ethan, what do you think? Jelen, what do you think? If I ask you, give me a real number, what can you think about?
Like the positive and the negative, or?
What? That's all it is. And what else? Something.
0.
Exactly. Exactly. So these are the 3 options. If the discriminant is positive, like we just had it here, it was 12. The discriminant was 12 in our example. How many real solutions did we obtain? how many real solutions, distinct real solutions we obtained when the discriminant was positive? Distinct, how many? Meaning not the same. How many?
2.
2. We say 2 real solutions. When the discriminant is 0, how many real, because I covered it up because it disappears. How many real solutions will the equation have? What do you think? Anyone?
1.
Indeed. Indeed, 1 real solution. And you can say, but you just told us that a quadratic equation has 2 real solutions. Now you're telling us that it's 1. Yes, it has 2 that are the same. We say it's 1 real solution, but there are 2 solutions, but they are both the same. That's why we say 1. But all quadratic equations have to have 2 solutions. All quadratic polynomials have to have 2 zeros. Okay, perfect. Finally, when the discriminant is negative, so if this were negative, I don't want to change it here, but if this were negative, how many and what type of solution?
No real solutions.
Excellent. And we say 2 imaginary. Good. So let's solve an equation with imaginary solutions and move on. I can choose, you can choose. You trust me to choose, or?
Yeah, you can choose.
Thank you. Okay, so here's one. How do I know? Very simple. This is basically this piece from x cubed minus 1. So I know it's not going to have real solutions. From x cubed minus 1, we're going to have here x squared plus x plus 1. That's how I know that has imaginary solutions. Okay, perfect. It's arranged in the correct order. I identify 1, 1, 1. So I have x. How do we start? How do I write it? Anyone? Can anyone help? Jelen, are you with us?
Yeah. Negative 1.
Excellent. Excellent. So far, perfect.
Square root of 1.
Excellent. You already squared it. Excellent. Good.
Minus 4. 4 times 1 times 1.
That's it. Done. Over 2a. Excellent. How much is 1 minus 4?
Is negative 3.
Very good. And a few minutes ago we did talk about this negative 3. So the square root of negative 3, remember, is the square root of negative 1 multiplied by the square root of 3. And this is what we call, anyone remembers? We looked at an example a few minutes ago. What is the name?
Imaginary number.
Unit. We call it the imaginary unit. So I will rewrite the whole thing as x equals negative 1 plus or minus I, the square root of 3 over 2. Done. Any questions on how to find imaginary solutions using the quadratic formula? I'm curious for a second to see what will happen and how the solutions look like, so you can see that with the same feature, polynomial feature. It's quadratic. Okay, now the coefficients are 1 and then 1, no, 1 and 1. Okay, x squared plus x plus 1 and I want to get the solutions. Aha! So it gives us as negative 1/2, which we already have, and the plus and the minus, and this piece is the square root of 3 divided by 2 and times I. Okay, it does not give us a nice form. It approximates 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 decimal digits. So you know that these are the imaginary solutions, complex conjugates. Any questions on this? Any questions? Okay, so our next step here is, it's the next handout with simplifying. Again, you may not see this, but it's posted. So we're simplifying something that we call calculus expressions. So I want to show an example with natural exponents, and we'll come back to all of them. You choose the one you like, and then I'd like to work on an example with fractional exponents. Okay, and then the rest. So please choose 134, 136, and then we move on to one or the other. Anyone would like to pick? Again, if you cannot see here, it's because it's too small, it's posted. So 134, 136, which one? Are we on 136? Perfect. So I think I'm on page 8. Perfect. Okay, so here it is. The 136, I'm copying it here. So 3, quantity 4x plus 5 squared times 4 times 5x plus 1 squared plus 4x plus 5 to the third times 2, 5x plus 1 and times 5. So the requirement is factor the expression completely. So first of all, I'm looking at this expression, and here's my first question for you. How many terms I see are here? I need you to say something. How many terms? And after that, our next step is, number 2, clean it up. Can anyone tell us how many terms we see? It's okay if you're wrong. I want it to be wrong, actually. But don't be wrong and say 15. Sophie, I'm sorry, I cut you off. Sorry. Sophie, go ahead.
In the 5.
So you wanted to please me. I know that. Product plus product. Again, how many terms we see? 2. Excellent. Thank you. You made me happy the first time, and you made me happy the second time. Thank you. My next step is clean it up. I don't even know what the heck is that, right? So it's all over the place. Factors in the middle of other factors. No, no, no. 3 times 4 is 12. 4x plus 5 squared. 5x plus 1 squared plus. Can anyone produce the same step for the second term and tell us what to write?
So 10.
Excellent.
4x plus 5.
Exactly. And 5x plus.
5x.
Excellent. So I have the first term and I have the second term. I'm trying to find common factors now. So first I start with the numbers. 12 and 10, do they have a common factor?
Two.
Excellent. Now I'm looking at the next factor. I see 4x plus 5 and 4x plus 5. Well, obviously it's a common factor. But now I have to decide upon the power. Do I put 1? Do I put 2? Do I put 3? Do I put 5? What do I put? And before you answer, allow me to divert for a moment here. If I have x cubed plus x squared, what will be the common factor here?
X squared.
Yes. So you chose the smallest of the two. It's not 5, it's not 1, it's not 3. It's exactly 2. The smallest of the two is 2. So I have x plus 1. The same concept applies here. I have power 2 and I have power 3. I have to choose the smallest of the two, which I know is